In the coming months, because right now we're at April 24th and we've got every team except 9 out of the playoffs, we're going to start hearing the word buyout. Buying out contracts. So how does it work? I went through Cap Friendly because I looked for various sources online and I found stuff coming out of the last lockout. Whatever. Cap Friendly really has it the best. So here's how it works. 1/3 of the contract is payable should the player be 26 or under. 2/3 of the player's 26 and over. Contracts for players who are 35 and older. There's some dueling opinions on what a 35 and over contract does for you if you buy it out. Basically, the idea is the cap hit stays roughly the same, but your actual salary you're paying the player drops. So if you don't want to pay the guy, but you don't mind having the cap hit, then go ahead and buy it out. But otherwise, you're better off just paying him and keeping him on the roster or find somebody to take him. There is a buyout period, 48 hours after the finals end or on June 15th, whichever date comes later. Now, what you're going to see is that after that period, players going on waivers. And you're going to hear so-and-so's on waivers for the purposes of an unconditional buyout. Signing bonuses, though, are not affected. So if he's got a signing bonus that's due on July 1st, he still gets it. I've talked before about the fact that there's a potential for after the next collective bargaining agreement is done in 2020, we may end up with another lockout, which is why a lot of contracts that got signed that go through that season, the salary's all signing bonus, or almost all signing bonus. Meaning that players are saying, look, you guys might lock us out, we're getting paid. So there's some concern about that. I think the Seattle expansion changes that equation completely. If Seattle's coming into the NHL in 2020, we won't have a lockout. The NHL and the players will actually have a conversation where they actually work together and figure this out for a change instead of going with another lockout. Now, because signing bonuses must be paid for contracts that are really, really heavy on bonuses, they're viewed as buyout proof because you don't get the benefits. Louis Eriksson, $6 million cap right now. It drops to $5.5 million. They get a $500,000 break if they buy him out, and then that adds 4 years after the contract would have expired at $500,000. Now, speaking as a fan of the team, I know this is risky. With 4 years left at $6 million per, he probably gets traded with Vancouver retaining maybe half of his salary, which is a lot. But a buyout doesn't help a whole lot. I'm only in favor of it because it's a lot of money, but I don't see how Louis Eriksson has a spot on the roster going forward. So we'll see what happens this summer. David Clarkson, this is the buyout proof contract. It drops from $5.25 million to $4.58 million on the cap if they buy him out. And then it adds 2 years, so 2 more years because he's got 2 years left at $333,000. So does he get bought out? Probably not. For the benefit, and then, the benefit's only a $700,000 benefit, somewhere in that region, and they still have to pay, or they still have the cap penalty of $333K for 2 extra years at the end. It's just not worth it. Dion Phaneuf is a popular target for buyout. $7 million. If they buy him out, that cap hit drops to $3.05 million, but it adds 3 years after his contract would have expired at $1.55 million. That's kind of steep. A little bit steep. Now, the one that I've been talking about possibly being a buyout candidate is the recently traded to Ottawa Marian Gaborik. He has a $4.875 million cap hit. If they buy him out, that drops to $1.5 million. Now, for a team like Ottawa, that's a benefit. That's $3.3 million in cap savings. I know they're still paying some of Dion's contract with LA, but it's worth it. And then they do add 3 years at $1.2 million, but again, for Ottawa, $1.2 million isn't really a deal breaker. I could see Eugene Melnyk looking at the contract that this guy's got and saying, let's just buy it out and I'll deal with that later. Shay Webber. So for fans of Montreal that are like, we should just ditch the guy and get rid of him, because Shay Webber has 8 years left this contract to me is buyout proof. It goes from $7.85 million per year to $3.1 million per year. Yep, you get $4.7 million to put towards somebody else, but it adds 8 more years on the cap. It goes to 2020 or 2033, 2034 at $1.25 million per year of cap. So this is money that really, honestly, teams don't want to be spending. They don't want to be doing buyouts. So I didn't want to do like 20 or 30 different buyout scenarios. I just wanted to give you guys just a general idea of how this works, because I know there's a lot of people who follow this channel now who may be fans of Vegas or tuning into the NHL for the first time this year for various other reasons, or maybe you're in the Seattle area and you're like, how does this league work at all? I'll be interested to see if this changes under the next collective bargaining agreement, because it has, I think anyways, that it's dropped the amount of buyouts because of the penalties. I also think that with the way that they changed being able to bury contracts in the minors, used to be that you just bury it in the minors, clear waivers, and the guy was gone. They can't do that anymore. Not the same amount anyways. But I do wonder if it's got certain players stuck in contracts with teams they don't want to be with, and if things could change coming out of the next collective bargaining agreement. Well, the next round of negotiations for the next CBA, if that's going to change the rules. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you think's most likely to get bought out? I will include the buyout calculator in the comment section, or in the description of this video, because it is an interesting conversation that we will start having between now and the end of June, and sometimes even into September. You'll see guys getting bought out, and you'll be like, wait, why didn't they buy them out during June? They got time. Anyways, if they do try to buy guys out during the non-buyout period, there's a bit more of a penalty, and that is included in the page that I will leave a link to in the description below this video. But there you go. NHL buyouts, just as simple a guide as I can give you guys. Here's to hoping that they keep it simple. And again, it's just the penalty will be incurred for how many years are left on the deal. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, however many years are left on the deal, that's how many extra years you're going to see added on at the end. And sometimes contracts get traded, like Marian Gaborik, so a different team can buy it out. That happens, where a team will buy it out knowing that they're going to pay the penalty, and maybe they get a bit of an incentive from the other team to ensure that takes place. And I mean, it frees the player up, right? So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Very popular thing to do right now. I love the playoffs. I love this time of year for this kind of thing. But thank you guys very much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.